Hi there, Nikki Does here with a little bit of an out of sequence video. I've been working on the gantry or the sliding storage project here, and I've got some video queued up, but I was building this one over here, and I was working on the table saw, and I did something wrong that I've done. I've had the same table saw for quite a few years, a great many years, and I did something wrong that I've done a few times in the past. And I thought, this is a really good opportunity to share a video about the Delta Unifense, which is on that table saw, and I really like it. I'm sure there are some great things out there now, but back in the day, this is like the late 1990s, early 2000s, there was a kind of a woodworker's battle between the Biesemeyer fence and the Unifense, and I ended up with a Unifense saw that I really like, but it does have one gotcha that if you're not paying attention, you make a mistake. The good news is you can measure once and cut twice in this example, which doesn't ever seem to really happen, but here I'm going to show you how it does work. So let's flip the camera around here, and I've left it all set up as it is. This is the Unifense, so the Delta Unifense saw guide. It is for ripping. We're going to move these long verticals out of the way here. So the Unifense works really well. I love it. It's got a single handle here to lock, and you twist the handle a little bit, and the dog or whatever comes out of the slot here on the Unifense fence rail. This is the actual fence, which you loosen and slide with these wing nuts or whatever they're called. And so again, you take this handle and you drop the handle down, and that pinches it, that centers it, and locks it all in one motion. Really great. So I can lift it, slide, drop it. I love it. You turn this a little bit, and now I can pull it straight away out of the fence guide. So you take the fence off a lot to do big rips, to do big miter cuts and things like that, or you put the fence back on to do your rips. I know how to use it really well. The thing is, it does have a cool feature that turns out to cause me problems once in a while, and that is you can slide the fence extrusion off, rotate it 90 degrees like this, and slide it back on. I'm doing all this one-handed. And then it's a low profile fence, so you can get some low cuts in here too. And when you do that, you can see the end of the fence has this shape right here where it's these T slots and then the fence portion right here. Now, if we look over here on the scale, on the indicator, there's a diamond line for when the fence is laying flat, and there's a diamond line over here for when the fence is vertical. And right now it's flat. Obviously, it's wider when it's flat than when we take this off and turn it to the vertical. So here when it's vertical, it's going to, we have to cut closer. We have to slide this closer. So there's this vertical one where it's slid closer, and there's the horizontal one down here where it's slid not so close. And I just made these rip cuts here on this wood using this fence in the wrong orientation, and I had to redo them. Now, oddly, I don't believe I captured the footage of that. I believe my card was full when I was doing the wrong cuts. So I know those of you watching could say, well, he just didn't want to capture his mistakes, so he's not going to publish it. I really do think I lost the footage. So, but I'm admitting to it right now that I did do that. Now, the second part about this fence that's really cool, those of you who are table saw savvy would know right away that you never do a rip cut. Beep. We're going to do that over. You never do a cross cut with a rip fence. You just never do, right? You don't take a piece that's wide and short and put it on a miter gauge and slide it through like this, because the slightest bit of pinch and you're going to have that piece of wood landing into your belly. So in this case, how am I doing this? How am I going to use this rip fence? And the point is I can loosen this up, slide this back to before the blade, and it's got to be before the blade far enough for the width of the wood. Now, I'm going to just put this right here and lock it. And now if I were to set this at, say, 15 inches, I have to step way around. I have to back way around this fence. So there's this big ugly chunk hanging out here. But now I can take my, oops, get this a little lower. It's up really high right now. There we go. It's because I'm doing it one-handed. So now I can take my piece, I can butt it up against this fence, and as I slide it forward to get through the saw, by the time it hits the saw blade, it's no longer constrained by this end, but I'm going to hold this here and not let it slide back and forth. So I'm going to hold this here and I will get my 15 inches. So right now, if I go forward through the blade, I'll cut my 15-inch wide piece, and I won't, if there's any caulking of it here, it won't matter, and it's not going to shoot out of the saw. So I just get to use my rip fence as a length guide, as like a length stop, even though it doesn't continue guiding through the cut. So that's one of the many reasons I like the Unifense. I have to admit, one of the things I like about it, I don't have a pencil out here, do I? I have a toothbrush. One of the things I like about it, I put my pencil right there, and it has this little tray here that lets me store stuff. So I don't know, kind of dumb, but it works for me. This, just to finish up, this is a Delta contractor saw, and I've had it, I bought it used. I've had it forever. And part of my little shop tour here is that at one point when I was redoing my kitchen and I went and got IKEA cabinets, I took the legs out from underneath this. It had this mobile base in it, but I took the, hold on a second. I took the legs out from under here and I put an IKEA kitchen cabinet, a section kitchen cabinet in here. And then this is where I store my power tools. It's got plenty of weight bearing capacity for the tools. And then I've got measuring stuff up here in the top drawer. So this has been really great for me. So that mobile base that it's on, that's got a fairly typical now, kick lever thing that you step on here. And that puts the saw up on the one wheel, and then there's two wheels down here. So now I can roll this saw around the shop. It's just plugged in here into the ceiling. So I can roll this saw around the shop. I'm not big enough in this shop to be able to rip a sheet of plywood, say, this way, but I need the space for other stuff. So I don't want the saw to be running crossways in the shop normally. So I can just kick down this foot lever, rotate the saw 90 degrees. I can rip plywood and stuff, and then rotate it back. And I just drop it back down with this lever, and now my blades and my tools and all that stuff come along with me. The only thing I haven't really finished yet is in the old way, that shelf right there was where this rip fence went. So when you're not using the rip fence, tighten that up again, one-handed, you would slide the rip fence right down in here in this pocket, and that no longer fits. It doesn't matter if I turn it up or down or sideways or anything like that, it really doesn't fit all that well. So yeah, maybe I could do that. I'm not sure. But that was the one thing. You know, they did have a spot here for this miter gauge. That sits there. And then I've also got this Osborne. This is the one I use most of the time. I've also got this Osborne miter gauge, which I don't know if they still sell this or not, but I love this thing too. This is an amazing piece of engineering for the woodworker. So yeah, and then since I'm on a table saw tour anyway, seeing that I moved to this smaller shop, I used to have a huge basement with 10-foot ceilings and beautiful basement when I lived elsewhere. But I did put on this Peachtree Woodworking from the place in Georgia. I did put on this extension table with the Jessam, well, this one's Rockler, but it's really made by Jessam, the router lift. So the router lift is also great. So now my table saw table doubles as a router table, and I've got a fence for that over here on the joiner. So that silver fence mounts into these keyhole slots really quickly, and I end up with a router table on the end of the table saw. Kind of making my own version of the old shopsmith here in the wood shop. I'm sure somebody's going to get upset with me for not having the blade guard on and the riving knife. The blade guard absolutely sucked on this thing. And who knows? I haven't run into trouble yet with it, but yeah, I should probably do something with that. In any case, that's my mistake for the day. I had to measure once, literally measure once and cut twice. But now I've got these shelves ready. These are the shelves for, it's like this place is definitely a mess today. These are the shelves for the acro bins. Whoops, the acro bins here. So these bins are going to go in that shelving unit, and they will roll back and forth on the rail system, just like these smaller acro bins do, furthering my ability to store many, many parts here in the workshop. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.